The judge of the trial of Danielle Hussein, who comes from Eltham, South London, and who, on the 6th of June 2020, slaughtered sisters Nicole Smallman, 27, and Bieber Henry, 46, in a park in Wembley, London, said that the perpetrator's motive for locking the dead bodies of his two victims into a twisted embrace was, quote, to defile them in death, unquote. Honestly, from casually stealing the phones of his two victims and trying to use them, to his affiliation with a far-right group where he, the son of Iraqi Kurdish Muslims, presented himself as a member of Hitler's so-called master race, the 18-year-old double murderer in question makes us all wonder what the fuck went wrong with him in those 18 years that he had before he did what he did in the early hours of the 6th of June 2020. There are just so many horrendous details to this double murder that you are going to feel literally physically sick. That said, if you're enjoying the video so far, do subscribe, give the video a like, drop a comment when you're ready, and donate. Hit the thanks button below. I'll appreciate you. Born in Blackheath, South London in May 2002, Hussein, the eldest of 4 children, had parents who were forever screaming at each other and who, by the time Hussein was in his early teens, got divorced. As a child, Hussein was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, which caused him to have trouble socialising and making friends, and in line with that, he was known as a loner who would regularly just wander off. Struggling to fit in, Hussein found solace in online communities and became radicalised in the process in more ways than one, the details of which are coming up. There's no doubt that the harmful ideologies and dark online subcultures in which Hussein immersed himself played a part in the man's subsequent acts of evil, exactly as experts say. But there are, as you know, millions of other loners and autism sufferers who don't allow themselves to, I don't know, worship the devil, say, or hook up, online that is, with genocide enthusiasts, because millions of other loners and autism sufferers aren't stupid. Sorry, but as far as I'm concerned, that's the one and only explanation for the perpetrator's willing association with an extreme right terrorist organisation whose goal is to clear the world of all races but one, the so-called Aryan race. I'm wondering if, to join the group, Hussein had to present the group with a photo of himself, and if so, I'm wondering if he duly photoshopped himself white and with blonde hair and blue eyes. Just a thought. If you need any further convincing of Hussein's stupidity, in October 2017, when he was 15, he was sent onto the PREVENT programme, that's an anti-terrorism programme run by the UK government, when he got caught downloading a brochure from that group at school. My God. And don't think that just because he was released from the programme in May of the following year, having been deemed as no longer presenting a terrorist risk, that means that the youth was suddenly right in the mind. A sigil, S-I-G-I-L, is a type of symbol which is believed to have supernatural powers and is used in magic and occult rituals. Sigils are also used to cast spells and summon deities such as angels and demons, with each deity having its own unique symbol. And Hussein had papers everywhere in his room with his drawings of sigils. One such piece of paper conveyed a written contract that Hussein had made with Lucifuge Rofakal himself, you know, Satan's very negotiator, who you call on when you want to do a deal with the devil, which indicated Hussein's intention to enter the serial killer profession for Satan. It said, quote, "To the mighty king Lucifuge Rofakal, I will perform a minimum of 6 sacrifices every 6 months for as long as I'm free and physically capable. I will sacrifice only women. I will build a temple for you. I will do everything that I have promised. For me, win the Mega Million Super Jackpot to receive fruitful rewards in return for the future sacrifices that I make to you. The rewards could consist of wealth and power, to never be suspected of any crimes by the police, and also that the police will never know of any crimes that I have done and that I will do," unquote. Now, with an offer, with presumably an acceptance, because the devil, as you know, never says no to the offer of a blood sacrifice, with an exchange of value, and with a clear intention to create legal relations, albeit in accordance with the laws of hell rather than with the laws of England and Wales, this contract was, and I speak as a law graduate, binding. If you're a total fucking nutjob, that is, just like Hussein 100% was. He signed this contract in his blood. Honestly, man, where the fuck was this guy's mind? And Importantly, where were the guy's parents, or at least the one that he was living with at this point? Responsible parents know their children and know when they're going fucking doolally. The 6 sacrifices every 6 months, all women, that Hussein references in what I will now call his Madness Manifesto were, as I think you've worked out, his payment for winning the lottery. Not only were there 3 lottery tickets in his room, but it was also discovered that in the 10 days following his double murder, he had bought many more online, including 5 tickets for the Mega Millions, where the jackpot was over 442 million quid. In a second Madness Manifesto, addressed this time to a supposed underworld entity that Hussein called Demon Queen Bileth, Hussein requests that a girl at his school should, quote, fall deeply in love with me and believe and see that I am the only one for her, unquote. He added that he also wanted to be more attractive to women generally, which I think contradicts with his wish to win the love of the girl in question. Anyway, in exchange for winning the girl in question, he promised the Queen, this deity, that he would, quote, burn incense in your name, offer some sweet drink, offer chocolate and offer some blood, unquote. The girl didn't fall in love with Hussein and none of his lottery tickets won. Having spent as much as 162 quid on the ticket, Hussein later called his bank to dispute the charges that he made to buy the ticket in order to try to get his money back. Rather unnervingly, and as is clear, the fact that the man didn't immediately realise on seeing his wishes for the affections of a particular girl and for a lottery fortune go unfulfilled, that there are no such things as demons and devils, shows the man's vast mental dysfunction. It shouldn't now surprise you to learn that Hussein was an avid viewer of videos by self-styled American occultist Matthew Lawrence, also known as E.A. Coating, who came from Apple Valley, Utah. Lawrence was a member of a US branch of the Order of Nine Angels and had 6 third-degree felony convictions for possession of drugs and for possession of a restricted firearm. Hussein was an equally avid member of Lawrence's satanic-themed internet forum called Becoming a Living God, where Hussein alleged that he was a, quote, psychic vampire, unquote, and asked for advice about forming demonic pacts, and got it. You see, it was Lawrence himself who advised Hussein that pacts with demons should be negotiated through none other than Lucifuge Rofakal, and that they should be signed in blood and brought to the demon with only candlelight. Hussein was active on that forum for 2 years and last logged in only hours before his arrest. You won't find any content from Lawrence, that cheeky charlatan, anywhere on YouTube, Instagram or Facebook now though, and I reckon you can work out why. Exactly, his accounts on those platforms were shut down for promoting violence. It's 8:40 p.m. on the 5th of June 2020. Wearing blue latex gloves, a mask to protect against COVID but also serving him very conveniently as a disguise, and a rucksack, Hussein is in Friant Country Park watching a group of 8 people who seem to be having a particularly lively picnic. Hussein literally waits it out for all of 4.5 hours before stabbing the older of the 2 women who have stayed behind 8 times, not giving her a chance to fight back, and then inflicting all of 40 stab wounds on the younger woman who had rushed to the other woman's rescue and then fought with everything she had against the perpetrator's own attack on her. The twisted, mutual embrace into which the perpetrator positions the 2 dead bodies after dragging them each some 75 metres into some bushes may have been a further act of satanic deference, basically, the intention being to make the 2 women look like lesbians in order for Satan to enjoy devouring them down in hell even more. I can't remember the name of the serial killer from somewhere overseas, for instance, who left the bodies of each of his many victims, all women and all prostitutes, facing downwards so that they were, as the psychopath later explained, literally facing hell. As for Hussein, he can't unlock the 2 phones that he's just nicked, one from each of his victims, so into the pond they go. He also can't repair or soothe the hand injury coming from his very murder weapon that his second victim caused him while ferociously battling him. The bleeding from his hand is why he has, by this point, hidden, between bins and between woodland, the picnic paraphernalia, his latex gloves and his knife. All those items had his blood on them. Just after 3 a.m, Hussein is spotted returning home. He's got no trousers on at this point and has instead wrapped himself up in the sweater that he was wearing when he left the house, part of which is also serving him as a bandage for his injured hand. On the evening of that same day, he goes to Northwick Park Hospital with his dad to get his hand treated. When the hospital staff ask him how he has sustained the injuries to his hand, he told them that he was mugged by a group of men, but that he didn't want to report it to the police. He changes his story though on being sent to the Royal Free Hospital, where he tells the plastic surgeon who stitches his hand up not that he was mugged by a gang of men, but that he was beaten up by a group of boys. The mother of the two victims, Mina Smallman, attributes the first of the police's two massive failings relating to the investigation of the two murders to racism. It was the boyfriend of the younger sister, Nicole, who, along with other friends and family members, found the bodies of the two sisters. The friends and family members had gone out looking for them when the police, who they had first contacted, failed to act. Now, PC Dennis Jaffa, aged 43, and PC Jamie Lewis, 33, who, when the police finally launched an investigation, were in charge of guarding the crime scene, were each later sentenced to 2 years and 9 months, not for not lifting a finger when the disappearance of the two victims was first reported to the police, but for circulating the pictures of the two dead bodies that they had taken and basically made a joke of. The blood found on the latex gloves, the knife, some of the bottles from the picnic, and on some of the leaves and branches near where the bodies were found held DNA that matched with someone who hadn't actually been anywhere near Freant Park when the murders were committed. The police no less swiftly got onto the scent of the perpetrator, since he was, as you've probably gathered, a close blood relative of the person who matched the DNA in question. Police surveillance teams having since been tracking the movements of all members of that person's family in the days leading up to and coming just after the two murders. In court, the judge blasted the perpetrator for going to trial, a trial only taking place, as you may already know, when a person charged with an offence pleads not guilty. Along with other crucial facts, the CCTV evidence against Hussein relating to the shopping that he had done for his murder weapon, his having no alibi for the time of the murders, his failure to explain how he had injured his hand, and his not having allowed the police to take a blood sample from him to see if it matched with the DNA found at the crime scene that didn't belong to the two victims, all presented overwhelming evidence of the man's guilt. It should be noted that the Madness manifestos and the other items relating to satanic worship that were found in Hussein's room are unlikely to have counted as either direct evidence or circumstantial evidence of Hussein's guilt. They did, however, serve to elucidate the perpetrator's motives for his evil acts. Mrs. Justice Whipple, the judge, also complained that she couldn't give Hussein a whole life order as he was underage, then knocked 2 years off the sentence that she could give him because of his age. It irks me personally that the perpetrator might only be 53 when he's released, 35 years being his sentence, which was set in October 2021. We obviously can't tell at this stage whether the parole board will deem that Hussein is no longer a danger to the public when he applies for parole in 2056, but we fucking hope they don't.
And I think he is so deluded, come 35 years' time, they won't let him out. They won't let him out. I won't let them out. Thank you.
If this video has gripped you, I recommend you to watch this one next. I'll meet you there.